Hi everyone, and welcome to part 3 of this polar bear tutorial. In the first part I did the background and the foreground of this ice here that the polar bear is sat on, and then the second part I did the face and the neck area, and then this last part will be focusing on the whole of the body. Oops. So this part will be the longest part, and yeah, all of the materials I use will be in the description below, as well as the reference photo, the paper, everything like that. This piece of paper is 8 by 8 inches and it's in the light blue pastel matte, which is more grey in my opinion, but it's called light blue, but it's one of my favourite ones, the one that I use the most. So I'm going to start off by like shading in some of the darkest areas with, where's my pencil gone? With this Caran d'Ache pastel pencil, which is the only Caran d'Ache pastel pencil that I'm using for the actual polar bear itself. So I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to shade in, basically, here's the picture, I'm going to shade in these kind of areas around here, here. I know this colour isn't a colour match, but I'm just going to use that as the base layer so that I know where those sections are, if that makes sense. I usually do it with like a mid-tone kind of colour, and then I can darken and lighten bits. These Caran d'Ache pencils are really good for base layers because they're really soft pastels. So one, they blend really easily, and two, they like lay down on the paper really well. And they're just quicker to work with rather than a pencil that's this kind of thickness, because the actual pencil itself is thicker. So yeah, and it's much of a softer pastel compared to the Pitt pastels. They're really hard, so they're better for details and things like that. I'm just kind of lightly shading in the darkest kind of areas, and then I'll blend it out, and then I'll add some browns to like really darken it up. I tend to like normally start with the darkest areas just because it kind of just makes sense to me, I don't know. It's just the way I like to work. When I get to these front bits, I'm just going to be really careful not to go over the ice too much. I can neaten it up again at the end with the white and make sure that it looks like it's in front of the polar bear rather than part of it, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to use this grey because there's some like grey parts here. So you can see how slow it is with this pencil rather than the Caran d'Ache. It's just really slow to build up the layers because it's so thin. And they don't blend quite as smoothly. And over this part, what I'm doing now, this is the leg, the back leg. It is grey, but it's got like a blue tinge to it, so I am going to use some of the blues for this part. Add some bit, because it's where the ice is obviously reflecting onto the polar bear's fur. This is the Caran d'Ache actually, so I lie, I am actually using another one for the polar bear. I'm just using this one. And that should be it, but I will link them in the description below. Most of the links, or maybe all of them, I'm not sure, in the description will be affiliate links, but you don't get charged any extra. It just, I get a small commission if you use the links. So obviously I'd be really grateful if you did use the links, but you don't have to. It just helps me out and keeps my business running, really. And yes, this looks like an absolute mess at the moment, but it should come together in the end. It's always this way. Especially with pastels, because I like to just be quite scribbly with the base layers and then just add the details on top, and it does come together eventually. And then I'm just going to roughly blend it all out. Actually. And this just kind of presses the pastel into the paper so that there's still more tooth left, so I can do all the layers on top that I want to. I'm going to start with the neck and like work the way down, I think. So here there is some lighter white fur. Add that in here. This area up here, there's quite a lot of brown. Where the fur, like the skin folds, there's a darker bit here. Here, just where the skin folds. Fire engine just going past, or an ambulance or something. Don't know if the camera would pick up that, but I live on a really busy road, so I get a lot of traffic going past. I can always hear the cars, so I don't know if the camera audio picks that up sometimes. I don't know. Find out when I check the video over. Just blending those dark bits out again so they're not so harsh. And I'm going to do this bit here first, this side bit I think. Sharpen the white again. Still sharp, but not quite sharp enough for these little details. Oh, that's the wrong sharpener. I was about to put my other sharpener then for some reason. Oh, I haven't showed this in this part, but I'm using the Swordfish Icon sharpener as always for all my pastel pencils. Be linked in the description below along with everything else. That's better. It's just so I can get more of a sharper point. Get some more fur detail in, really. Colours actually look a bit darker on camera than they do in real life for some reason. They look a bit more soft in real life. I found that when I take pictures of pastel work sometimes as well though, it looks softer in real life. And when I take a picture of it with my camera on my phone, I notice that the colours actually look, not the colours, but the lines look less soft. Strange. Because my artwork looks a bit more soft in real life. Strange, but oh well. Could probably play around with the settings. I might be able to make that happen a bit less, but I'm not really too good with technology to be perfectly honest, but I can have a little play around. Just keep blending the parts every now and again just to stop it looking so harsh. And around these edges you want to kind of make sure the fur goes over the top of the background, just so that you don't leave any of the paper, any of the grey paper between the polar bear and the background, because otherwise it just doesn't look great. Which is why I always do the background first before doing the animal, because then you can make sure to overlap. Just gives that more realistic look. There we go, I was just making sure that it was all overlapping down the side. And then all of this bit down by the leg is quite dark, so I'm going to add some brown to this bit here and then blend that out. And just blend it all out. Oh, my throat keeps making so many noises. Please ignore it if you can hear it. I'm sorry about that. I just realised I don't think I was filming that whole thing. Oh my god, that's so stressful. Oh, I just thought for a minute that I hadn't filmed that whole thing because my phone suddenly wasn't recording, but I must have clicked it when I checked that notification. Oh god, that scared me. I thought like I hadn't filmed any of that. Oh. Okay, I did. It's okay. I checked and I did. It was recording, so it's okay. I was just about to have like a little meltdown. It's okay. I don't know about you, but like when one thing, because running my own business home, if one thing goes wrong, like say I wasn't recording that and I thought I was recording that whole time or something, if one thing happens like that, that's it. I don't want to do work for the rest of the day. I just want to do nothing. It just really demotivates me when something like that happens. I should be like, nope, let's just get on anyway, move on, forget about it, do it again or whatever. But I just can't. I just get in a mood and I can't. So I'm glad that didn't happen because I do have a lot to do today. Started to get so much colder here in the UK. I went out this morning to the gym and I was freezing. It was like 6 degrees, I think my phone said it was, which is crazy because all of a sudden it's just like dropped. So I've ordered a hot water bottle off Amazon, because where I work from home I don't want to be putting the heating on all the time because it just costs way too much to have on. But I can't just sit here freezing my guts off because then my hands are too cold to work, and you know, you just sat there really cold, it's just not pleasant. So I was thinking of cheaper ways to keep warm, and I thought, well, I could get an electric blanket and that'd be amazing. But we were talking at work and apparently the cheapest thing would be to get a hot water bottle, because you just need to boil the kettle and then the hot water bottle stays hot for ages. Put the hot water bottle on your lap while you're working and yeah, keeps you warm. And put a blanket over the top of it, keep the heat in. So hopefully that will help. Maybe a cheaper way to keep warm. So we will put the heating on sometimes because otherwise the whole flat's just way too cold, but not yet. I don't want to put it on yet. Try and hold off for as long as possible. Yeah, so for this part of the leg, I'm just kind of doing some more fur-like strokes, doing the fur in some different directions, because here the fur's kind of going, you know, you can see the separate kind of clumps. So I'm trying to kind of do that a little bit more. don't know if you can see my jumper, but I'm wearing the same jumper that I have, I think, in all these other parts, but that's because I have filmed this on over 2 days, and yeah, I wore the same jumper for those 2 days, so. Add some lighter fur bits. And then this will just stay pretty dark, because in the reference picture this area is actually really dark, so I'm going to try and keep it like that. Some more kind of stray looking fur bits. Okay, so that's pretty much that leg. I might just smooth it down a little bit like that. And then this leg, the fur does overlap. I'm going to just film this until lunchtime, I think, and then I'll film the rest of it next week. So I don't need to upload it quite yet. But yeah, this bit of fur on the other leg is quite white again, and then it gets darker kind of as you go. Oh, this leg looks a lot whiter than this leg. I think this because that's showing the inside of the leg, whereas this is the outside of the leg, if that makes sense. So that's the inside of that leg, and then the outside of this leg, so it's a lot whiter. Just going to finish all the fur kind of around the neck area. I'm going to actually drag some of this fur a little bit up the leg, I think. It just still looks quite dark to me, but I can always add some bits later on I feel it's still looking too dark compared to the rest, but we'll see how it goes. Sometimes it's hard to tell until like the rest of it's done, and then you can kind of darken up some areas, lighten up some areas, whatever looks right. Sometimes it's hard to tell until the drawing's got colour all over the whole thing. And then I usually just come back and change a few bits right at the end. I'm going to add some brown to this bit. Just add some darker tones to this bit here on the other leg. I'll blend it out in a minute. Deepen this bit up again a bit. So when you blend the pastels out, sometimes the colour goes a bit less bold, a bit less intense. So sometimes you need to layer it back up again. And here there's some more darker bits of fur. The darker bits of the fur tend to be where the folds are, like the folds within the fur, to create the shadows. If you accidentally get some pastel around here, like I've got, use a kneaded eraser. This is a Faber-Castell kneaded eraser. It's kind of just squishy rubber basically, and you can just use it to tap and press into the paper, and it lifts any pastel. Obviously it wouldn't lift all this up, for example, but if you've got a bit that's smudged or something onto the bit of the paper you don't want any pastel to go on, just dab it with this and it picks it up nicely. I'll link that in the description below as well. I definitely recommend having one of those if you're working with pastels. It comes in handy, and also if you're working with graphite, actually I use it a lot as well. It's just really handy to have. It's better than a normal rubber because it doesn't rub and ruin the paper. It's like really gentle. down here there's quite a lot of dark area right at the base here, which I think is the polar bear's belly, because that's its leg there, and then this bit is its stomach. And if I go over a bit of this ice by accident, I'll go over it at the end just to neaten that bit up again. I'm not too worried about it at the moment, I'll do that at the end. If you hear any loud whirring, I have put the washing machine on, and it's at the end of the cycle, so it's going really loud. But I have shut the door, so hopefully you won't be able to hear it. I'm going to take some grey and use that on this one here. Someone's alarm's going off. And then I'm going to go back in with this Caran d'Ache one and just add a bit up here. And I'm just going to blend all this out a little bit. It doesn't blend fully because it's only a very light layer, but I just like to blend it a little bit. And then I'm going to go in with the white and slowly start adding some fur. And just watch carefully the direction that the fur is going in to make sure that you're drawing the fur strokes in the correct direction, because that's what helps make it look more realistic, is the direction the fur is going in. As if you do the fur all in the wrong direction, it just won't necessarily look right. And it gets a bit less white up here and it's more brown and cream and less white. So I'm going to add some of this creamy colour up here. This bit here is a lot whiter. Where the sun, this is where the sun's shining on its back. So this bit of fur is a lot more white. I don't really have a set way of working, so like I don't think, right, I'm going to do this leg now, I'm going to do this now. Sometimes I sort of just do bits here and there. It's hard to explain like how my brain works when I'm doing it. I kind of just keep looking at the reference picture and going from there, really, just yeah, seeing what bits need doing, I don't know, but yeah, it's hard to explain. I think in a minute I'll need to add some grey to this bit of the leg in between the bits of fur, because there's some grey tones in this bit. Same with here, it's a bit more darker rather than brown, so I'm just going to add a bit there to deepen that up. Sharpen my white a little bit, and then I'm going to add some thin hair streaks there. And then, and then here's like longer fur strokes. So I'm going to replicate that here. And also having the base of the paper, the paper colour, so the background, the grey helps because there's already a grey kind of undertone to this bit of the fur, if that makes sense. So in between the little gaps of fur is grey already. I prefer working with like mid-tone coloured paper, so this colour paper I really enjoy working with because it's sort of a mid-tone. Just I find it easier to add lights and darks onto mid-tones. I don't really like working on white paper because when you add white onto it, obviously you can't really see it, and I like being able to see the lights when I add them onto the paper. So I really like working with this colour. They do white pastel matte, but I rarely use it. I don't really like using it. And also, if I'm leaving some of the background blank, you can see every little bit of pastel dust and smudging on the white because it just shows everything up. Whereas this grey, obviously you don't want smudging and stuff on the paper, but it doesn't show it as much. So if there is a tiny little smudge, it's not really going to show as much as it would on the white. I'll add some white to this bit just to, so it doesn't look too dark. But then it does get quite dark here, so I'm going to keep that bit quite dark. Okay, I'm going to just soften this bit a bit. Right. Okay, so I'm going to mark out some of the lighter areas with this white first. Sharpen this again. This is why I get through so many of these. Look how tiny this is. I swear this was like quite big at the start of this piece. I get through so many whites. It's because of all the sharpening I do, and I like it to be a sharp point. Never mind. Always happens. The tip always breaks off. Press too hard or something. They're just so fragile, pastels. And then down here it gets more grey. And this one. In this section here, there's not a lot of white. It's mostly just this dark browny orangey colour. Just going to try and keep it like that as much as possible. shade in all this bit grey, I think, as the base for this bit. Like that, yep, and then just blend it out a little bit. I will use a little bit of white in this area a bit later. I'm just sort of mapping out a little bit of the fur. And then up here it's really light, there's like barely, you can't really see much fur at all. Just sort of using this beige as a base over the whole of this bit at the back, and then I'm going to add some white and things on top. I just want to get most of the paper covered up at this point. I'm also going to add a bit to this leg, make it look a little bit slightly softer, but I'll do that probably near the end when I do all the finishing touches and stuff. filling that out very slightly. There is some grey here as well. Adding a couple of squiggly marks because the fur here, there's a few bends in it, like, so I'm just adding a couple of squiggly bits there so it doesn't look all too neat. Sharpen it again, just constantly sharpening these. Let's get some new sharpener blades as well. I'll link the sharpener and the blades in the description below as well, in case you want to get one for yourself. Change the blade maybe once every 2 months, maybe once a month. It depends how much drawing I'm doing or how much sharpening I'm doing. Just depends really. Apparently if you sharpen a graphite pencil, so say like you're using the sharpener for pastel pencils, apparently if you use a graphite pencil in the sharpener every now and again, apparently it's meant to help keep the blade sharper. I don't know if that's true, but it's something I've heard. I've not tested it for myself, but apparently it might be worth giving it a try, see if it makes the blades last a bit longer. Have my doubts, but never know. Oh, see, there we go, smudge. And then just lift it with the rubber, that's a good example. try to avoid making the fur look too neat because that's quite unnatural. Like if you see an animal, its fur is not going to be all perfectly in a straight line. Some of them are going in other directions, like at where it's moving or the wind's blowing, or you know, obviously if you've got like a dog with really short hair, like a whippet or something, obviously yeah, it's going to look neat. If you've got slightly longer fur, like this polar bear, it's not all going to be dead straight and flowing in the same direction. It's going to look a little bit messy. Not got too much left to do. Just got this back leg here. Yeah, pleased with that. Sorry, my neighbour's outside, just outside the window, like moaning about something. Okay, there's like the darker area up here. I am going to add in some of that blue again that I added in earlier, because that's kind of, you can't really see that now to be honest, just to show the ice like reflecting on the polar bear's fur. So I will add some of that in, but probably at the end, just to add like a hint of it. This white is so short now. I might have to get another one out. Yeah, I will still use this, but not for the detailed parts. I find it quite hard to control. I do need to get some more white pastels. I think I've only got one left. Yeah, there we go. Oh no, I do have two. It's fine. I've got another spare. I always like to have like a few spares because I know that I get through them really quickly. Keep all my spare pencils in here. Just my backup ones of the ones I use most, just because if I'm working on a commission or something, I don't want to run out of one of the colours I use the most, because it would just stress me out. And then what if like they're sold out everywhere and I can't get hold of them, you know. I don't really want to be in that situation. Especially for my pet portraits, I give myself a week for each one, so that's quite limited with time, quite a tight schedule. The fur up here is a lot shorter than the fur that I was doing here, for example, or even on the leg. The fur here looks a lot shorter, so I'm just doing some smaller strokes rather than the long fur strokes. I will add in some more grey and stuff up here, but just adding in the direction of all the fur and that for now. This dark bit, I'm just going to use the cream, do some light strokes, just to show there is fur there, but it's just a lot darker. Hopefully I'll better finish this before my phone battery dies, because I would just want to get this bit done now and filmed so that I can schedule it up on YouTube ready. Just get that done. I planned out all my videos throughout the whole of October. So currently I'm filming this right at the start of October, but this video is not going to go up until near the end of October. Well, middle of October. So I'm trying to plan out my videos a month in advance so that I can keep on top of it this time, because it's really hard to keep up with YouTube, because videos just take so long to make. Like obviously TikTok, Instagram, all you need to do is just have a photo or a short video. Like a TikTok you could make, or a reel you could make in like 5 minutes. Whereas a YouTube video, you've got to film it, edit it, upload it. Literally can take a whole day to do one video. It's insane. At least this video won't take long to edit, because I just need to put the clips together and boom, done. I don't need to edit anything else, which is handy. But yeah, it's just a lot of work, so I'm trying to plan everything out a bit better so that I can keep on top of it all. I don't have as many pet portrait drawings at the moment, so I'm kind of taking advantage of that to get ahead with some filming, so that when I do get some pet portraits coming in, or some more than I have now, then at least I'll have some videos as backup if I don't have time to film anything. That's the plan anyway. Hopefully it will work, because I do want to keep this consistent. Just upload every single Sunday at 4 PM. That's quite a good upload schedule. I'd like to upload more than once a week, but I just don't have the time for that. So one video a week it is. I'm sure people understand that they do take a long time to film. After this video I'm going to be doing some videos focusing on acrylic paint, so I'm going to show you my acrylic paint essentials, and also I've ordered some Arteza acrylic paints because they're cheaper than the ones that I use. I'm trying to find something like a cheaper alternative, because I do get through a lot of paint. The ones I use are quite expensive, so I'm trying to find something cheaper but obviously the same quality. So I've ordered a set of Arteza, some brushes and some acrylic markers to test out. So I'm going to do a video testing acrylic paint stuff from Arteza. I might make it into like a little series, like testing Arteza art supplies, because they have some really cool stuff. I love looking on their website, and their prices really aren't bad. So I'm thinking of potentially trying out their coloured pencils and some of their pens at some point, like their fine liners and stuff, because I like making little journals and scrapbooks and things, so it'd be quite cool to try them out. I'm always using different pens for things like that, so be quite cool to try them and just make it into a video and test them out, let you guys know what I think. And obviously I'd always give my completely honest opinion. If I didn't like some of the products, then I would say so, because I'm not being paid to make the video. I'm just, well, even if I was being paid to make the video, I would be honest, but you know what I mean, I've got no loyalties to them. I just want to try out their products. If there's any tutorials like this, like real-time tutorials, or any YouTube videos in general that you'd like me to make, please let me know in the comments or send me a message, because it's always handy to have recommendations like and ideas of what people would enjoy. So obviously I can think of ideas myself, but I don't know if it's actually what people want to see. I do sometimes do polls on my Instagram with what would people find helpful and things like that, which is helpful for me to know what people would find helpful, what people would enjoy to watch. Then it makes it more worth my time making these YouTube videos if I know what people actually want to watch. I know I've only got like a small following on YouTube. I'm not popular on here by any means. I would like to be, but who knows if that would happen. I've been doing YouTube for a few years now, and I'm trying to just be consistent with it now so that I can actually grow more of a following on here. The other day I actually had someone post a picture of their drawing by following one of my tutorials, and that just made me so happy. I was like, oh, someone actually is finding my tutorials helpful and have produced some really good artwork from it, and that just made me really, really happy. So if you do follow any of my tutorials, please do tag me in a post or just message me a picture of what you've done, because it just makes me really happy knowing that I'm helping people. I would like to help people more, have more of a following of people that want to learn things. I mean, I'm still learning as well as I go, but it's just nice to help others. Remember when I first started learning to draw, or when I was first using pastels, or first just drawing animals and fur and things, I would watch YouTube videos all the time, and it really, really did help. I found that there was a lot of coloured pencil tutorials out there, which is what I started off with. I started using coloured pencils before I branched out and started using pastels, which I now prefer. But there were so many coloured pencil tutorials, so that's what I started with, because everyone was using them. And then I saw a few, actually no, I think it started off, I was just going through Instagram, and there was, whenever I saw like a really bold drawing, and I was like, wow, it's like coloured pencils, and I'd always find out that it was pastel pencils. I was like, what are they, you know? So I did some research, and then in the end I did try them out, and I just loved them. There's not as many tutorials for pastels out there as there are for coloured pencils. I still do use coloured pencils sometimes, and I might do the odd tutorial here and there using coloured pencils, but I definitely prefer pastels. I just find it a lot quicker to work with, and yeah, I'm not a patient person, so it's quite nice to use a medium that's a bit quicker to work with. and I'm just gonna add some blue around the leg, and also I'm just gonna join this in a little bit more because there's a bit of a brown haze around the edge of that leg. I don't want that there. Blend it in a little bit more like that, and then I don't know what blue to go for. Let's start off with this middle one, this one here, and just add a hint of blue. Not much, just something very subtle. Come back with my mini white. And I've got to just neaten up this bit of the front here, because you can see there's like a little grey kind of haze around the edge where it's not joined properly, so it doesn't really look like the ice is in front of the polar bear. So I'm just going to sort of blend it in together, just so it actually does look like this bit of ice is in the foreground, if that makes sense. So there's no grey of the paper between the polar bear and the ice. Then after that, I think I'm pretty much done with this piece, because I'm happy with how it's turned out. So like to do this whole polar bear, I think it took about 3-ish hours maybe, which isn't very long. Whereas if I did this whole piece in colour pencils, it'd probably take like 20 hours or something, because of all the blending and that. It's just so much quicker with pastels. And I just don't have the patience. If I'm to do a coloured pencil piece again, it would probably just be like a bird or something more simple without a background, just to use the coloured pencils, so I'd enjoy it sometimes. There we go, just as you can see, the ice is just a bit more like in front. It looks more like it's in front of the polar bear. I think that's pretty much it. So that is the end of the tutorial. I really hope you found it helpful, and if you have any questions, please leave the questions in the comments or send me a message on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Yeah, and in the description I'm going to leave the reference photo, the paper, all the pencils I've used, basically everything that I've used to create this piece. I'm going to leave in the description so that you can do this yourself if you want to. And the paper that I've used is 8 by 8 inches. I'm gonna now do the most satisfying bit, which is peeling the tape off. And this is the Scotch Magic tape, which I will leave in the description below. And this tape I really, really like, because it doesn't rip the paper, no matter how long I keep the tape on the paper for, whether I leave it on for a few weeks while I'm working on a piece, it does not rip the paper, and it always leaves a really nice crisp line. And it doesn't come off when I'm drawing either, so that is the finished piece. Here's just another close-up. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, And if you do create this piece yourself, please tag me in a picture or send me a picture because I would love to see what you create. Thanks for watching. Bye.